On this episode of the Pep Talk Podcast today, I am inviting you to a very special event. We're having a funeral, y'all. But first, I have a question for you. Have you had your dose of pep today? No? Don't worry. I've got you. Y'all, let's get it going. Welcome to the Pep Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay. This is the podcast whose mission is to cheer you on and to coach you up because I believe that everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a cheerleader. We need someone that's our hype person, but we also need someone that's going to challenge us and say, yo, you can do better. Be better. And so every Monday this year, we're almost a year old. Every Monday this year, except for about 3 weeks, I have come to you and I have told you that I believe in you. I think you're great. I think you're amazing. I think you have a lot to offer the world. However, there are areas in your life where you can level up. There are areas in your life where you can be better. And I am going along this journey with you. I'm not coming to you every Monday saying, Coach Jay has got it all together. No, no. If your life is a mess, trust me, my life can be a mess at times too. However, what I'm hoping that I'm bringing along with me along this process is that even though my life can get messy sometimes, y'all, I also understand that within my mess is a message. And I hope that you understand that within your mess is also a message. And so, what we're doing week by week is encouraging you to go stronger, right? To get up when you fall and to keep moving because ultimately, what's going on in your life, your story, is going to encourage someone else in their life who has fallen to not just stay there. A rising tide lifts all ships. I say it all the time. So if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, welcome. You are deputized into the Pep Squad, and I'm sorry that you're coming. I'm not sorry that you're coming. You're joining the party as we're having a funeral today. Hey, you joined at just the right time. If you have been rocking and rolling with us, y'all, I can feel the momentum. I can feel just a groundswell of support. And so I'm so thankful for you. And actually, if you're supporting the podcast, if you are enjoying what we try to do week by week, I'd love for you to stop right now, leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcast or however you're listening to this podcast, wherever you're listening to it. And if you're watching it on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the alert, the notifications button so that you don't miss a single episode or the shorts that we upload maybe 2 to 3 times throughout the week just to keep your motivational blood pumping, to keep reminding you of how great you are, but also to provide tips for continuing to elevate throughout the week. Now, you heard me right. I said that today we are here for a funeral. And I want to give you, well, you know what? Let me start here. I have been encouraging you to not coast the rest of 2023. I have been challenging you actually to ramp up at the end of this year and let it continue through the beginning of 2024. Why? Because it's easier to hit your runner's flow if you're already running versus having to start from a dead stop. You can still get there. It just takes you longer. But see, as things are winding down around us to end this year, I cannot think of a more perfect time to encourage you that it's time to pour into your passions. It's time to pour into your personal growth. It's time for you to explore those areas that have always lurked at the fringes of your life. Those things that you think, oh, I might really be good at this, but I've never had the time or the space or the energy to go after them. Well, guess what? You have the time, you have the space right now as everything else and everyone else are starting to ramp down. Now is your time. And so I've been encouraging you and challenging you week by week to close this year, to keep going. And as a matter of fact, as people have asked me, are you taking a break to end the year? Right now, I'm not planning on it because I can't be encouraging you to keep moving, to keep grooving, to keep getting it if I'm not riding right alongside of you. And so my plan right now was not to take a break to end the year because I want to be that consistent voice for you that is continually telling you that now is not the time to stop. Now is not the time to quit. Now is not the time to coast. But as 2024 is looming on the horizon, at the airing of this episode, I believe we have roughly 2 more weeks. That is nuts. 2 more weeks in 2023. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to redeem your time? What are you going to do to make sure that 2024 is the best year yet? We don't start on January 1st, Pep Squad. No, we start now. And so that's why I think right now it's important that we do this funeral. I think it's important. And I know you're out there, you're wondering, a funeral? Who died? So I'm going to tell you the story behind this. So when I went back to school to get my alternative certification in teaching, I was a part of a cohort and we would meet, I believe, on Tuesday nights at the local college. And one of the activities that we had to do, we would have to make presentations in front of our classmates. And I remember seeing in one of our textbooks, a resource, this thing that says an I can't funeral. And the idea behind this I can't funeral is that so many students come into classrooms and when teachers ask them to do something, they say I can't without even trying. Or maybe they tried a few times and they say I can't because they weren't able to pick up that skill or pick up whatever it is that's being worked on in class. And so I remember coming into this classroom and I put on an entire dramatization of a funeral, of an I can't funeral. And to this day, there are some classmates who will still hit me up on Facebook and say, man, I still remember your I can't funeral. It was impactful. And I think it's not an accident that as I'm thinking about, what I wanted to do with this episode, what I wanted to accomplish. Last week's episode, I asked you 2 questions, and I hope that you took the time to answer them. The first question was, what's in your heart? Because what's in your heart always comes out. No matter how much you may try to hide it, people can see what's in your heart. And then the second question I wanted you to answer is, what's in my hands? What are the things in my hands that I think are ordinary, but are really extraordinary when it comes to me living out my purpose or finding my pathway? And one of the things that I said that has stuck with me all week is that your pathway does not become extraordinary just because you're on the pathway. The pathway becomes extraordinary when you apply what's extraordinary about you as you are walking that pathway. So maybe you're walking and you don't know what you're doing yet. But as you begin to take stock and take inventory of what you have inside of you, then your life and your pathway along your life takes on a very special tone and tenor. Because something that I tell my daughter is that while there may be a lot of people called to the same general area that you are, nobody can do what you were called to do like you can do it. So your pathway, even though you may start off with a lot of people headed in the same general direction, at some point your life is going to diverge from the crowd based on what's in your hands, what's special about you, what's extraordinary about you. And so in last week's episode, I was trying to get you to notice what is extra special about you, what is extraordinary about you. And people may call it vanity. And for the longest time in my life, I thought that by seeing what was special about me, I was being arrogant and vain, but I know better now. I thought that by ignoring what was extraordinary about me, I was being humble. I know better than that now. Humble is not disregarding what's special about you. Do you hear me, Pep Squad? Being humble, having humility, is taking up the space, the exact space that you were meant to take up. It's not shrinking. It's not trying to live above your station. It's about just being all of you. It's about being all of you. Do you hear me? True humility is not shrinking and it's not exaggerating. It is just being 100% you, who you were created to be, and doing what you were created to do in a way that you were created to do it. But in so many classrooms, students are saying, I can't do this or I can't do that. And so I, as a wanting to be teacher, I said at that point, I'm not going to allow I can't into my classroom. And so I put on this entire dramatization about burying I can't. And I had the students to write down the things that they can't do on paper. And then I walked around with a little casket that was made out of paper. And we put these I can't statements into this casket. And when I closed it, I gave the eulogy. And that was it. From then on out, there was no more I can't in Mr. Belt's classroom. We just weren't doing that. And so in this episode, it is important that as we close out 2023, as we're continuing to explore what's in our heart and what's in our hands, I think it's important that we leave behind the statements that are crippling us day by day. I can't. And so I want to just bring out just a few I can't statements, and I want to refute them. But also, as I'm doing this, I want to invite you to grab a sheet of paper, and I would love for you to write down your own I can't statements. Because at the end of this episode, we're going to bury them. Okay? I'm a big proponent that our limiting beliefs, our negative self-talk cripples us. Those are the things that keep us stuck. But we're just not doing it. I am not going to allow you to leave this year believing that there is anything that you can't do. So, number one of the biggest I can't statements that I often can find myself thinking is I just can't win. I just can't win. And y'all have heard me say this plenty of times that life will life. Life will life. And, if I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, because that's what we do on this podcast, we're honest and transparent. We are going through a moment right now where we are down to one vehicle. And I was driving our van. I've been commuting everybody to work in our minivan. And one morning, the check charging system light came on. And I dropped my wife off from work, and I was starting to head to work. It was a testing day, and I needed to be at school to test with the students that I've been working with. And so I was pumped up to be able to give them a motivational pep talk before we started testing. And then the van died. It died. And I remember pulling into the parking lot of a gas station. And before I know it, I had my head in my hands, and I was thinking about how I was letting my students down. And I was angry, and I was frustrated. And I said before I knew it, I just can't win. I just can't seem to catch a break. And I wallowed there in that self-pity for a little bit. Like, even after I called my wife and we got a plan, because I was thinking about my students, I was thinking about my son was going to be late for school, and I was like, I just can't win. And maybe you can identify with that. Maybe you feel like life has quite literally conspired to orchestrate your demise. Maybe you think that, with everything that's happening, the bad is compounding more than the good in your life. And trust me, I get it. Trust me, I understand what that feels like. I know the feeling, I know it so well. But to say I just can't win, that's a fallacy. Because what I understood was I won because I was able to get the van out of the street into the parking lot of a convenience store. That's winning. Because can you imagine my van stopping and then blocking traffic for other people? So even just that small thing there tells me that to say that I just can't win, that's a lie. And to think that I was letting my coworkers down, no, because I called my friend who was the registrar. She said, it's okay. You just take care of you. I'm winning. Because I had people that I could call who didn't berate me. They didn't say, Jay, you're a loser. Jay, why can't you get your stuff together? Just get another car, Jay. Like, what are y'all doing? They said, I understand. So I'm winning in the area of relationships too. So I just can't win is a fallacy. It's a lie. The problem is the reason why so many of us think that we just can't win is that we're not looking for the wins. We are so consumed, our lives are so caught up in the negative. Our lives are so caught up in the pain, in the suffering, in the negative feelings that, yeah, when you're looking for the negative, you are actively going to find the negative. So if you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm so guilty of saying this, I just can't win, I need you to write that down because it's a lie. You can win. Even in the midst of the L's that you think you're taking, your L's are not losses, your L's are learning opportunities. Your L's are leaning in opportunities. What are we leaning into? We are leaning in to the good things, the blessings, no matter how small, no matter how minute they are. It is the blessings, the small things, the specific things that can sustain us in times where it feels like life is trying to take us out. Like somebody has put a hit out on us and life just said, I'll take it. I'll take them out. I need you to stand up and prove to life that it cannot win. Life can take the L's. But as for me, this is a no losing zone. I can win. And as a matter of fact, I am winning, whether I can see it with my physical eyes or not. When I vision cast, when I live in my heart and in my head, all I see is winning. All I see is dubs. Nothing but dubs over here in the Pep squad. So I can't win is an I can't statement that we're burying today. You feel me? I can't win has got to go. Next up, number 2. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Start the business. I can't do it. Write the book. I can't do it. Go hire a coach. I just can't do it. Change your life. I just can't do it. It's too hard. I was not just a client of the I Can't Do It organization. I was the CEO. I knew I was supposed to write a book. Slaying the Lion Hunt, What is Hunting You? I've talked about this book before. The link's in the show notes if you want to purchase it, okay? But I didn't think that I could. I knew that I wanted to write a book, but I didn't think that I could. I didn't think I had it in me. I had tried-ish, but I hadn't exactly dedicated my heart, my soul, my mind, my strength to it. And what I have learned about I can't do it is often we need to change that can't to won't. Or to I haven't tried to do it. And here's what I mean by I haven't tried. Not that you haven't attempted it, but that you haven't put the intention of all that you are behind doing it. Because the saying, where there's a will, there's a way, it's undefeated. It is undeniable that when we want to do something, when we set our intention, when we set our wayfinder toward that thing, guess what? We're going to find a way to do it. And so here's what that means. If you haven't done it yet, then it's simply not important enough for you to put all your all into doing it. And that's okay. That's fine. But let's be honest with ourselves. The thing that you're saying that you can't do, when is the last time that you really, really, really tried to do it? I'm waiting. I'm going to wait right now. That offer that you need to make. When's the last time you really tried putting some work into it and then putting it in front of people? And I'm talking to myself as well as I'm talking to you. Right? I can't do it. People aren't going to support me. No, you can't do it because you're not supporting yourself. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but you need to hear the truth. We need to hear the truth. And I can't sugarcoat it. You can't do it as often. I don't want to do it, or I don't want to put the work into doing it. And if that's you, it's time out for that. We are not carrying that attitude. We are not carrying that mindset. We are not carrying that negative, vile, toxic way of being and believing into another day, much less another year. If you really want it, like you say you want it, then go after it. If you really want it, like you say you want it, then quit telling everybody about it and then just go do it. Sometimes people don't support you because you've gone through 30 bajillion iterations of the same thing, but they've never seen you do anything about it. Sometimes your mind is like, he ain't gonna do it. She ain't gonna do it. So I don't even know why they're talking about it. Y'all, we don't keep promises to ourselves, much less other people. But I want to focus on the self piece first. How many promises about the things that you're going to do have you made to yourself and you've not fallen through? We hear it at the start of every year. January 1st, I'm going to lose weight. January 31st, I'm too tired to go to the gym. It's too cold to go to the gym. I don't want to ride the bike. The bike is boring. Oh, I hate the YouTube hit videos. You just don't want to do it. And every time we make a promise to ourselves that we do not keep, we build up internal resistance to the things that we say that we're going to do. Y'all, I cannot be more honest and more blunt than I'm being with you right now. If you want to do it, start now. I'm not even giving you the out of waiting until 2024 to do it. Because if you take these last 2 weeks off, you're not going to do it. You can say, I'm not ready. I don't have the money for it. I understand. I know what it's like to not have the money to hire the coach or to do this. You know what? Get an ebook. Use YouTube. There are enough free resources out here in the world to get you started on your journey. Until you're able to do better, you do what you can. And quit using the excuse that it's money. It's not the money. Yes, sometimes it is the money, but there's enough free ways out there that if you really want to do it, you're going to do it. So what we're eliminating is I just can't do it. We're not doing that. We are not. I need you to listen to me. I'm dead serious. Look at me on YouTube. Look at me right now. Look in my eyes. Hear it in my voice. Hear my passion. I just can't do it is as false a falsehood as they come. Tell the truth. If you're not going to do it, just say, I'm not going to do it and keep it moving. But y'all, let's quit deceiving ourselves. Let's keep it 100 with ourselves. I can't do it has to die. We're just not doing it. It has to go. We're not carrying that baggage with us anymore. All right. So this last one, I want to be a little bit more sympathetic to because I understand that there is an entire level of hurt that goes behind it. And it is, I just can't figure out a way forward. Now, in my own life, this has come out when I've suffered some crushing defeats or what I thought were defeats at the time. Um, the loss of a loved one, being fired from jobs. Yeah, I've been fired. I've been fired. Um, and I can't find a way forward was something that I felt so deeply in a place in my heart that I didn't even know existed, but it did. And see, I can't find a way forward. It is a statement that expresses a deep degree of hurt, a deep degree of discouragement, a deep degree of just being lost and not being able to see the next thing, to not being able to see where the healing comes from, where the next win comes from, where the next provision comes from. I just can't see a way forward. I can't see a way out of this. So here's what I want to say to you, friend, to you, family, to you, Pep Squad, who may be dealing with that limiting belief right now. It's okay. It's okay. It's an emotion. It's an emotion, and you need to feel it. You need to allow yourself to feel it. Maybe you got a rejection notice. Maybe you got an eviction notice. Maybe you got, there are so many things out there that can knock us on our butts. There are so many things out there that can take the breath out of our lungs and leave us gasping. And I just can't find a way forward. But we often try to erase the feeling by filling it quickly with something else. That's not healthy. You have to feel the feeling. You have to feel the emotion. You have to process the emotion. If you need a therapist, find a therapist, find a friend. You need to feel and process the emotion. Okay? But here's what I also need to tell you. I can't find a way forward literally gives us permission to sit down and to just stick, to be stuck. And I cannot, in good conscience, allow you to do that because some of you have not been able to find a way forward through 2023. And I know life is hard. I lost my mom this year. I understand life is hard. And sometimes those emotions, they come up and they are crushing. But while you do have permission to feel the feeling, and you do have permission to process it, you don't have permission to stay in it. I'm sorry. I just can't find a way forward. No. No, there is a way forward. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Dust yourself off. Take a look at your surroundings. Take stock at what's around you. Take a look at, and then just take a step. It doesn't have to be a big step, but it needs to be a step. Because while you can feel the emotion, you should process the emotion. You cannot stay there. You can't let that emotion keep you paralyzed. You cannot lose years, days, months of your life in a sunken place. It's not healthy. And it's not your purpose to stay stuck. So I'm sorry. for what you're dealing with. My heart goes out to you. I know what a defeat feels like. I know what the loss of a loved one feels like. I know what it means to have the creditors after you. I know what it means to file bankruptcy. I know what it means for life to just not be in your favor. I know what it feels like to just want to lay down and just give up, but process the emotion. Talk about it, journal it, feel it, let the rawness of it, feel it, scream it out, cry it out. And I think this is especially poignant right now as we close this year out. We've suffered through some things that have hit us squarely in the jaw. But family, you have to get up. You have to get up. This is not the end of your life. There is hope. There is light. The weeping endures for a season, but joy comes on the other side of the clouds. So feel your feeling, feel it, but then get up. This is Coach Jay talking. Get up. Get up. Get up. Don't stay down there. Don't stay down. Get up. Find a way forward. Get a friend to grab your hand and y'all walk step by step, skip by skip, until finally you find the strength to run. And then you start to run and you don't give up. I just can't find a way through it is deleted from your lexicon starting right now. We're leaving it in 2023. We're leaving it. We're done with it. We are done. December 18th, 2023 is the end of I can't find a way forward. And I'm saying this because it's for your good. Because I love you and I want to see you flourish. Okay? So by now you should have all of your I can't statements written down on a sheet of paper. Okay? I want you to take that sheet of paper and I want you to ball it up. I'm going to give my best eulogy. And then I can't, it's going to be a wrap. Are you ready? I wish I had an organ to play right now. I just need it. I need an organ. You know what I'm saying? I need an organ to play just to get me in the mood. But let's see if I can do this. I need to channel that much younger me going through that teaching program. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, here we go. Dearly beloved, we are here on this auspicious day to lay to rest someone who has been our constant companion, our confidant, someone that has been with us in so many of the moments in our lives, an ever-present voice in our lives. Yes, I'm talking about our brother, I Can't. See, I Can't has always been a source of consternation. I Can't has caused us to misunderstand ourselves and to misinterpret our situation and to give misperceptions of what people have said to us, and it's taken up unlawful real estate in our heads and in our heart. But today, I said, touch your neighbor and say, today we are laying to rest I Can't and all of his evil deeds, for making us doubt ourselves when we should have been speaking hope, for causing us to think that we couldn't do what we have been purposed to do. We are laying to rest, brother, I can't. And when we close this casket, brother, I can't, will be laid to rest. So let us have a moment of silence as we decree that brother I can't will no longer hold sway in our lives. And in this moment of silence, I want us to decree that we are taking back control of our lives and only stating what we can do. So please, let's have a moment of silence for the life of brother I can't. Okay, that's enough. Now, my brother, now my sister, I would like to welcome you into a new lease on life where you can find a way forward, where you can do anything that you place your head and your heart toward, and that you can win in life. This is a time of celebration, a time of joyfulness, a time of rejoicing as we celebrate the new lease on life that we have been invited into. Now, I would encourage you, brother. I would encourage you, sister. I would encourage you, valued member of the Pep Squad, to not allow yourself to go back into that grave and to dig out brother I can't ever again. Because it's gone. It's gone. Hallelujah. Brother I can't is gone. That felt good. That felt really good. I can't is gone. We're not taking I can't with us into 2023-24. It dies now. It dies now. So grab that paper, throw it into the garbage can, burn it, whatever you need to do. Don't burn your house down. Get rid of those I can't statements and begin speaking to yourself like your own best friend and in positive terms. We're replacing negative, limiting beliefs by speaking the truth over ourselves. And so, this is the end of episode 18 of season 2, the funeral episode. I hope you had as much fun with this as I did, but I also hope that it has been helpful to you, so that you are finally able to lay to rest the limiting beliefs that have kept you bound and that are keeping you from being your optimal self. Because you can. You absolutely can. Y'all, this has been season 2, episode 18 of the Pep Talk Podcast. We are not ramping down, we're ramping up. So I'll see you next week for episode 19 of the Pep Talk Podcast. But listen, y'all know how we end it. Keep it love, keep it light, and keep it pep. All right. Episode 18 of the Pep Talk Podcast. This is Coach J, Life Coaching DFW. I love y'all. Stay blessed. See you next week. Peace.